up, everybody? Welcome to Eagles Pregame Live. The Eagles take on the Seattle Seahawks tonight, 8:30, Monday Night Football. We're breaking down top matchups to watch, talking player of the game predictions, top 5 keys to victory for the Philadelphia Eagles. Joining me, he is Ryan Reese at Philly Sports PSA. What's up, Ryan?
Not much, man. Just ready for this game to start. I always hate Monday nights just for the extra weight. And, as I get older, I think a lot of older fans can agree, primetime games just suck, honestly. It's you're staying up late, to try and watch this game and, ruins your morning the next day. Us old people need our sleep, and we get up early. So I'm going to be miserable tomorrow, regardless of if they win or if they lose.
For people like us that have to wake up early and start early with work, these are brutal, man. Not gonna lie. And it's been just one after another this Eagles season. Also joining us, he is Mitch Kofsky at Mitch Kofsky on X. What's up, man?
Yo, I'm excited for this game. I'm excited for the Sixers before the Eagles game. I'll watch a little bit of that. But let's get started. I'm excited for this.
Obviously, we got to start with some breaking news here. Per Jeff McClain, and there were some questions about this because he was downgraded just a couple of days ago. But Jalen Hurts will play today in this one. So, Ryan, quick reaction to that.
Yeah, listen, I got a little concerned when he got downgraded to questionable, but knowing Jalen, there wasn't a way in hell, they were going to stop him from playing this game. And there were reports that it was maybe a little bit more than just normal illness, but I saw earlier today when he arrived at the stadium, he was very Jordaned up, if you will, wearing his Jordan gear and stuff, and
flu game.
A little flu game, action going on. And listen, he obviously isn't at 100%, but I'm hoping that this kind of lends to maybe more of reliance on the run game finally, to kind of ease, him into this game a little easier, considering he's not at 100%.
Yeah. What about you, Mitch?
Does this mean Goddard's going to get the ball more? Like, just keep it easy on Jalen. I don't want anything else to happen. Just, run the ball, quick throws. That's all I want to see from him today. So.
Awesome, guys. Guys, if you're watching us live, please be sure to comment your thoughts, your vibes on Eagles versus Seahawks. We'll bring up your comment. We'll talk about it. But I say let's jump right into our top matchups for this game. All right, let's talk about top matchups to watch. Ryan, lead us off.
Yeah, listen, the Eagles defense has certainly come under fire a lot lately. And with the news of the Sean Desai, Matt Patricia, I keep seeing some conflicting reports as far as like whether this is like an official move or this is just literally moving him up to the booth, Sean Desai, that is, and having Patricia be the one who relays the plays, in. I've heard it's a full demotion, change of defensive coordinator, but I don't know. I don't know what the official word is, but either way, it changes things. And either way, that defense obviously wanted a change and needed a change. And so I am going to be looking for them to react to everything that's happened this week. And they're going up against a Seattle pass defense that absolutely balls it out. DK Metcalf is a freak of a human being. Tyler Lockett just catches anything that's even like remotely close to him. And JSN is finally, I feel like he's finally finding his footing and really starting to come along the last couple of weeks. So they have an amazing pass game. So I really want to see this defensive backfield, how they're going to react, especially with Slay out, with Ringo starting now, his first start, his big opportunity here. And again, he was somebody, and Dives, I know, we all had him super high in our cornerback rankings last year, thinking this guy was an easy first round pick. And it didn't work out that way. But the Eagles, found their way to taking him. So I'm hoping he's just maybe a little bit of not a slow learner, but you know what I mean? Takes a little bit to get adjusted, and he's really going to get thrown in the fire here. And I really want to see him react. I want to see him come to play and show us that we have somebody that we can rely on outside of Bradbury and Slay, who haven't had the greatest of years. So let's look for the Seattle defense, Seattle passing offense to go against our defense. Yeah. And hope to God we can kind of minimize their impact, as they have been playing really well lately.
Yep. That's absolutely one of my matchups to watch, and I'll just piggyback off of that. 73.4% of the yardage against the Eagles defense has come through the air. That's the fourth highest rate in football. We know all about how much this Eagles defense has struggled, especially the back seven in general. Only Washington is allowing a higher passing touchdown rate than the Eagles defense, 5.6%. And it gets worse, man, especially when you look at these playmakers with DK Metcalf and JSN. The Eagles are surrendering 85.9 receiving yards per game to opposing lead wide receivers. That's the fourth most in the NFL. And since week 6, the Eagles have allowed the 8th most explosive passing plays in the NFL, with an average of 2.3 pass plays allowed of 20 plus yards a game. DK Metcalf is a guy that crushes man coverage. The Eagles run man coverage, the sixth highest rate in football. And you look at the last two games between Metcalf and the Eagles, 17 catches, 337 yards, and a touchdown. Then you get to Jackson Smith and Jigba, who could be a huge problem. His usage and involvement has been more consistent as of late. This guy is a guy that plays the slot 70% of his snaps. And we have seen the Eagles secondary get carved up in the slot over and over and over again. You look at 2 weeks ago, JSN had 11 targets. And this is a guy that had 7 receptions and 62 yards in that one. So if I am the Seattle offensive coordinator, I do not stop attacking with DK Metcalf and JSN until Matt Patricia and this Eagles defense figures that out, because it is such a weakness. Enter Keely Ringo, and we'll talk about in a little bit. But that is a huge matchup. The playmakers, and I'll get into more in-depth details about Matt Patricia and Sean Desai. But Mitch, what's a matchup you're looking for?
For me, it's the defensive line against the quarterback. If it's Geno Smith or Locke, I think his name is. So, got to attack the quarterback, right? If it's Geno Smith, you got to attack, make him uncomfortable as much as possible. And defensive line is the best part of our defense, so we got to exploit that.
Absolutely. We have Chad in the house saying, "What's up, King of the Hill, Mitch, Mr. Crockpot, and Ryan? Go 49ers, trouble in Dallas." Yeah, that loss by Dallas means this is a much bigger win. I don't want to see the Eagles pump the brakes this week because Dallas lost. Take care of business. We have Matty B in the house saying the fraud GM is starting to crack. This was a move that undercut his puppet head coach. You are witnessing the beginning of the end. Fire Howie. This is like the old man yelling at the clouds. Like,
seriously, he really is.
Right.
Get off my lawn.
Get off my lawn.
It's like Aiden him says, Up. If you've seen Up, that's it.
Yeah, we saw Aiden says Buffalo Bills ran Dallas off the field. That was the Bills crushed the Cowboys in the trenches. Like that's where the Eagles need to get back at. Like they have not done that the last several weeks. So kudos to the Bills.
Yeah, they let James cook.
Exactly. Yep. We got Phil in the house. Go check out Trending in the AM, man. Awesome show. saying Birds 28-17. Does this game define the team moving forward? I don't know, man. That's a great question. I've been saying that we've been asking that the last couple of weeks. The Eagles should have taken care of business against the Niners and fell on their face. The Eagles should have showed heart and put their heart on their sleeve and showed fight against the Cowboys. They fell on their face. This is is this a must win for the Eagles, Ryan?
No, not at all. Listen, the Dallas loss really does help in that, but no, this isn't a must win. We end up losing this game, right? We're back to being tied with Dallas, and then we literally have 3 easier opponents, and Dallas still has to play Miami on the road. They still have to play Detroit. So I'm expecting another loss for Dallas regardless. But now, if you want the number 1 seed, then yeah, it's probably pretty important that you win out and then hope San Fran stumbles against Baltimore next week. So yes, it depends on what you want. If you're looking to, get the division, the number 2 seed, then no, it's not a must win. If you want the number 1 seed, yeah, it's probably a must win. But all in all, I honestly think in a way, winning this game does more for them, regardless of seeding and whatnot, to get their confidence back. They just lost 2 really, really bad games against arguably the 2 toughest opponents, in the NFC for sure, if not maybe the NFL. And they're going to probably see at least one of them, if not 2 of them, in the playoffs, should they go that far. But so, yeah, they need to just turn the ship around. They need to get a win under their belt. And then hopefully they can kind of, parlay that into a 4-game streak, head into the playoffs, maybe get a week off. That would be really nice. Always helpful with health and all that, and storm into the playoffs that way. But yeah, we'll see. They need to wake the hell up, honestly.
Yeah. Edge of Philly Sports asks, attack the Seattle O-line all night. That is the one thing. We're going to get into keys to victory for the Eagles. And we'll come back to this question, I promise. We've got Angry Anthony in the house. What's going on, man? Thanks for joining. This is the end of Sean Desai. Absolutely. And I want to throw this up because 4 days ago, I put this on here. Who concerns you the most? And 65% of 3,000 votes said it was Brian Johnson over Sean Desai. And if you watch this show or any of Ryan and I shows, it's Sean Desai. And that's where we get into another matchup to watch. It is Matt Patricia versus Sean Desai. The Eagles defense does not rank in the top 10 in any single metric or popular metric. They are absolutely terrible when they stack the box, terrible when they play one high shell. They're one of the worst blitzing teams in the league. I thought Desai's defense was way too passive. And looking at tonight's matchup, the Seahawks are a team that likes to run a lot of 12 and 13 personnel. They rank 2nd best in the NFL in 12 personnel and 9th best in 13 personnel. They've got 2 physical backs in Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker. I expect the Seahawks to consistently target the Eagles safeties and linebackers in coverage. I think Kevin Byard and Sidney Brown have to be literally on point tonight. Like, this is a huge game for them to step up. And one thing to watch out for is the Seahawks love to run play action. They run play action 20% of the time, which is 3rd most in the league. And they're number 2 in the league in success rate at 58%. This is a linebacking core, a safety core that has definitely struggled on misdirections and counters and, especially yards after catch and just basic fundamentals. So the Eagles back 7 really need to be prepared on this one. And going back to this question, attack the Seattle O-line all night. Matt Patricia has to get consistent pressure with 4. That's where the Eagles need to win. And they haven't, to be honest, they haven't gotten home. They have to attack with 4, and they have to get consistent pressure against Drew Lock, right? Against Drew Lock.
Mhm.
So again, the Eagles have really struggled blitzing. I don't know how much they're going to attack, but to be fair, I would like to see more aggressiveness out of Matt Patricia because it's not been good enough by Sean Desai. Some more comments real quick. Talking Philly sports with Matty B says, I want to hear each of you say Birds are Super Bowl contenders without laughing. They are not Super Bowl contenders right now. That is the honest truth. We have, at some point, we need to say the Eagles are what they are. They are 10-3, and it is a very high likelihood that they could get some swagger back these next 4 games and get steamrolled against the Niners in the playoffs.
I mean, do we know who this team even is? In all honesty,
This team has a major identity crisis. You're
absolutely right. They have a lot to figure out, especially on that defense, but also on the offense. I mean, listen, they have not been consistent anywhere for the most part. The only consistent player they have is Jake Elliott. Honestly, and
isn't that ironic? I like you look at last year, like their offense and defense was so elite, and the special teams were like barely hanging on. It's literally the exact opposite.
I know. Yeah. So listen, I'm not willing to say that they aren't. I fully believe that they are Super Bowl contenders, and I am not laughing. I am absolutely dead serious because we have seen what this team is capable of. There's not a lot of teams that are capable of what the Philadelphia Eagles can do. Now, whether or not they will, whether or not they can put it all together for 60 minutes, that's another story. Whether they can figure out how to play defense with what they have and the injuries that they're dealing with, whether or not they can move the ball efficiently, hold on to the ball, not turn it over, and put Jalen Hurts into better positions. I mean, honestly, I think a lot of people are hating on Jalen right now. And personally, I don't like the play calling. And I know it's an easy thing to say, but man, they went away from what truly worked last year. And they're putting him into positions where, the production rate is completely down because he's trying to throw into these tighter situations and windows and trying to do too much when just alleviate some of that pressure, get the simple things going, and give the run game a little help to ease him into it too. So I just want to be able to say that they have the ability. We just need to see it. They just need to put these players into better positions. Honestly, I know Andy Reid would always say that. I mean, how many times? I got to do a better job putting the players in better positions. Well, guess what? The Eagles need to do a better job of putting these players in better positions. It's plain and simple. Let's do it.
You look at the last 3 games for the Eagles. The Eagles have the 10th fewest rushing first downs. That was a staple of the Eagles last year.
Sure.
The Eagles' average time of possession is 26 minutes and 13 seconds over the last 3 games. That's dead last in the NFL. So Anthony has a great comment here. The D gets tired. Absolutely. This defense, and Sean Desai and his rotations need to improve, and we'll see what it looks like under Matt Patricia. But this defense has been put on the field way too much by the lack of offense in many regards as well. Any comments, Mitch?
For me, the Eagles always they always found a way to win. And that's when it comes down to. No matter how big it is, no matter how small the lead is, they always found a way to get this win. The last 2 games were a wake-up call. So with Matt Patricia here, I feel like it's going to be a difference, but it's not going to fix everything. Got to go back to fundamentals, got to tackle, got to go all that stuff. So it's a step in the right direction that the Eagles are going in.
Yep. One last matchup to watch on my end is Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown versus the Seahawks secondary. That's definitely something I'm looking at. Since week 10, Seattle's defense ranks 30th in the league in EPA per play, while also ranking 29th in EPA per dropback. I know a lot of people are going to be pounding the table to run the football tonight, but the truth is the Eagles, when they're playing really well, are moving the ball down the field. And you look at the Seahawks defense, Since week 10, they're coughing up 2 passing touchdowns per game. They really struggle to defend outside wide receivers. They allow the most targets this season and 5th most receiving yards to opposing wideouts on the right side. Do you know who plays on the right side for the Philadelphia Eagles? A.J. Brown. So this could be a big A.J. Brown game for sure. Anthony says, I want my crock pot back. You're not getting my crock pot, man. No. Michael says, moving the ball efficiently is all on the offensive coordinator. And it's not just that. I mean, 3 fumbles. The Eagles had 3 fumbles last week as well. This game is a must-win, and the division is theirs. Offensive play calling is predictable. The Bills showed everyone that the Eagles need to do. Pound the ball and establish dominance. I agree. More balance. Use the run to set up the pass.
Yep.
We'll see, man. We'll see. It's going to be really interesting because we know Nick Sirianni wants to throw the ball. I don't know. Best matchup, A.J. Brown and Weatherspoon. Is Weatherspoon playing?
Oh,
anybody know? I thought he was hurt.
I thought he was still hurt, personally.
I thought he was hurt too.
Let me look at the injury report.
I'm looking it up now too. But last I checked, Weatherspoon was a slot corner. So I don't know how much he's going to be matched up on A.J. Brown. Someone please look that up, and we will talk about it on the other end. But let's jump right into our top 5 Eagles keys to victory.
Don't you feel it? Sweetness and light from my restless smile. Please give me a way to escape this world gone astray. You could give me a little peace of mind in these troubled times.
All right, top 5 keys to victory for your Philadelphia Eagles. I'm going to go first because I never go first on these things. Let's go number 5. I'm going to go 5-1. Number 5, more motion. I keep pounding the table for the Eagles to run more motion in their offense, and I'm going to keep doing so until it freaking happens. The Eagles rank 32nd in motion, but the issue is they're 12th best with a 44% success rate when they do it. It works. It's Doc Rivers syndrome. Just do it. Like the Eagles or the Sixers for so long were so good at cutting the basket, but they were always dead last in the NBA. This is the same thing, man. I want to see more rollouts from Jalen Hurts. I want to see more design runs. I just want to see more creativity and things like that from this Eagles offense. Number 4, attack safety Jamal Adams. Adams per PFF is ranked 75th among safeties this season. He's one of the worst cover safeties in the NFL. He has a passer rating allowed of 94.6 this year. He's allowed 24 of 30 passes tossed his way. Jamal Adams has been exposed this year. I want to see the Eagles target him. Let's flip the tables for once and us be the aggressors rather than our defense and safeties and linebackers get torched every single week. Number 3, take out the Seahawks on early downs, man. And we all know the Eagles are arguably the worst team in the NFL on third downs. 32nd in the NFL in third down defense, 19th best on fourth down defense. This Eagles defense just cannot get off the field. And what we've seen of late, the Niners and the Cowboys did a really good job at getting big yards with the run, beating up the Eagles in the trenches and getting, 5, 6, 7, 8 yards of carry. And teams like the Niners, teams like the Cowboys who have playmakers, the Eagles have really struggled against those kind of teams, especially in those third and short, fourth and short situations. So take out the Eagles on early downs is a big one. Get the Seahawks on third and longs and just hold, clinch those butt cheeks and pray to God because this defense has been that bad. Number 2, get home in the red zone. This Eagles defense has to put up 6 on the board tonight. Against the Cowboys last week, 0 for 1 in the red zone. Against the Niners, 2 for 4 in the red zone. Both were losses. The previous 3 games combined, they were 10 of 10 in the red zone and won all 3 games. The Eagles have to get back to just taking care of business in the red zone. And number one's kind of the same, theme is really just more so on the Eagles than so the Seattle Seahawks. Take care of the football, man. Pure and simple. Like this is as much as we're saying how this is a must win for the Eagles, this is also a must win for the Seahawks. That stadium's going to be rocking. We all know that. And the Eagles just need to play their game. They need to stop making stupid mistakes. I think Brian Johnson sometimes gets a bad rep. Yeah, the play calling is bad at times. And yeah, the situational play calling is even worse. But you look at this offense overall, their success rate overall is 48.8%. That's 4th best in the NFL. Touchdowns per drive, 27%, 6th best in the NFL. Points per possession is 2.38, 5th best in the NFL. So it really just comes down to stop the giveaways. Just keep the ball moving and do what you need to do in the red zone. Jalen Hurts has 15 giveaways in 13 games. He's fumbled the ball in 7 consecutive games and hasn't gone on a game without a fumble since week 6, man. Just stop. Just stop with the self-inflicting wounds. Do you, Eagles? Get back to fundamentals and let's get this W. I'll throw it to you, Mitch. What are your top 5 keys?
I'm going to go from 5 to 1 as well. Number 5 is tackle. Just go to basic fundamentals of tackling. I mean, I don't want to feel like I'm watching Little Giants again and trying to tackle Spike. I don't want to see that anymore. 4, I'm going to go and hold on to the football. That's the most common thing. I mean, 3 fumbles last week? Crazy. Number 3, get to the quarterback. Get to Geno Smith or Locke. Got to get to him, make him uncomfortable, force turnovers. Number 2, feed the ball to DeAndre Swift. Just keep on giving it to Swift. Let's see what he can do against the Seattle defense. If he's on a roll, the Eagles are in a good spot. And number 1 is Matt Patricia. I want to see how he is being short notice, because him calling the plays. I want to see the plays. I want to see the schemes. So number 1 for me is Matt Patricia.
All right. What about you, Ryan?
Yeah, I think you guys all stole the good ones. I'm gonna kind of almost say the same things, maybe a little differently, but yeah, number 5 is eliminate the turnovers. Enough's enough. It's you could call things fluky and whatnot, but when your 3 best offensive players all have fumbles, you're never going to win that game. So win the turnover battle. Stop turning the ball over. Just be a little bit more careful. Number 4, run the ball. And I don't mean that as one of those, guys standing outside the NovaCare complex with a sign. I just mean be a little bit more efficient with it. Be a little bit more selective with it, but utilize it still. Know that what you do in the first quarter will help you out in the fourth quarter. You need to, especially with Jalen not being at 100%, you need to alleviate any amount of pressure you can off of Jalen Hurts. So run the ball a little bit more. I want to see 25 run plays. It's not that hard to throw in 25 run plays. I'm not expecting Jalen to be involved in many of that, but even if he is for a little bit, give Swift the ball. And that, if that means, wheel routes, if that means screens, and that means whatever into this run game. Number 3, get A.J. Brown the ball. I mean, I feel like this guy just is over the last couple of weeks. I mean, not the J.J. Brown that we know. And we need to get him involved. He's definitely a type of receiver that if you get him involved early and often, he's going to have himself a day. And we've seen it plenty of times already this year, but it's been a little while. Let's get him back into the flow of things, I was going to say, what was that? 1, 2, 3. So number 2, defense needs to step up and show that they're not as bad as they are. I want to see them flying around, tackling, hitting people. You know what? Just because DK Metcalf is the largest human being in the world doesn't mean we all have to be scared of him. Hit him in the mouth a little bit. make him a little scared, knowing that if he's going to jump up for a ball, he's going to get hit. Let's bring a little bit of that action to this defense again. And listen, maybe the change with Patricia, might spark something in them. And they need to show that. And my number one thing is let's get a little creative on offense, huh? We've been very bland, and I'm not talking about bullshit, BS trick plays and this, that, and the other. Just saying, utilize what you do well, and the things that you're efficient at. You got to add those in. You got to sprinkle, some big chunk plays as well. I feel like we've gone away from that. It's just we need a better mix of it. Yeah, just let's get a little bit creative. I don't know whether Nick Sirianni needs to get a little bit more involved. I'm not saying take over play calling and none of that, but maybe sit Brian Johnson down and be like, hey, listen, bud, let's spice it up a little bit. Let's throw a little hot sauce on this thing. And let's confuse some of these defenses here. So that's my keys.
Yeah, if the offense plays as well as we hope they play tonight, we're going to be having a different narrative tomorrow, no doubt. And as they get to 11-3, Anthony says, run the ball, number 1. 2, blitz. I fully disagree about blitzing. This Eagles team sucks at it. Number 3, use more Goddard. Absolutely agree with that. Number 4, better play calling both sides, no doubt about it. Number 5, let Hurts run out of the pocket. I like that a lot. Michael says the Eagles were the aggressors last year, not this year. They need to get that dog back as the Eagles lost that. Yeah, I mean, they won games in the trenches. Teams were afraid to play the Eagles because of how dominant they were on the defensive line and offensive line. That has not been the case this year, man. It's not been consistent. Anthony says, what was Slay getting surgery for? I believe a knee injury, which no, we're not going to get into that. I don't want to get into that.
Yeah. It's something with his knee. Just a cleanup procedure that should have him. And unfortunately, he's probably going to be out for a few weeks, but he should be more than fine for playoffs.
Dietrich says both sides of the ball needs to be more creative. I was looking at the injury report, and Slay is getting surgery.
Oh,
we're getting butt hurt. I love it.
Oh, damn, that's pretty good.
It's not a bad one, but I hate how Eagles fans are targeting Darius Slay's wife. There was a thing by WIP today where Darius Slay was a topic, and Slay had some issues with that. Like Darius Slay and his wife, they just need to get off social media, man.
Yeah, well, that's also true.
Way too much.
They're too involved in the social media aspect of it, and they kind of open themselves up for a lot. Not that I'm justifying it in any way. An Eagles fan, listen, there's always going to be those 1 or 2 idiots that go over the line. But yeah, listen, and some of the Slay comments recently were taken a little bit out of context about how he was like, oh, well, I played great actually, but the team kind of sucked. It was a little bit out of context, but you're right. Slay just needs to kind of take a little step back. Listen, you're not going to be playing for a few weeks. Maybe take a break from social media. Maybe Mrs. Slay put down the banana pudding. Just take a little break. Again, it might be good for you. It might be good for the fans, the aggressive fans, to kind of separate a little bit.
Seth Joyner owns Slay because Joyner was way tougher. No doubt, of course. All right, let's get to score predictions and player of the game predictions. Mitch, go ahead.
So if you guys watched my Fly Like an Eagle podcast, great show. It was on Thursday. Catch the replay. I predict the Eagles to win 27-24. I feel like it's going to be a hard, fought-out game. It's going to be close. It'll be the first time we get a win in Seattle in God knows how long. So it's got to be Jalen. Jalen's not my player of the game, but with him having this flu game, I'm just saying, man, just keep it easy on him. Run the ball as much as you can. And my player of the game is actually Hassan Reddick. Because if the quarterback, is it Locke or is it Geno?
I've heard Locke.
Locke.
I've also heard Locke.
Yeah,
okay,
and I also looked at. So they haven't updated. Seattle hasn't updated, at least that I found, any of their questionables from Saturday. But Witherspoon did not practice all week, and is officially listed as questionable. but it does not appear he's going to play.
All right. So that's my player of the game right there, Hassan Reddick. If he can get to the quarterback, I think we should be fine. So, Reddick.
Reddick for Mitch. What about you, Ryan?
Yeah, listen, will be great to just kind of come on here and blow the doors off these guys. Really just say, you know what? We took 2 weeks off. We're back. We're ready to take this NFC over. But unfortunately, I'm not going to predict that because that would just only be too good of a dream. But I'm going to go 30-27 Eagles.
30-27.
Yeah. And my player of the game is going to be DeAndre Swift. They must utilize the run game today. They must take some pressure off of Jalen Hurts. They cannot have everything on him. He cannot, especially being sick. God only knows what percentage he is. But knowing him, it doesn't matter if he's at 2%. He'll probably still go out there. But listen, he's going to be a little lethargic. He's not going to be 100% there. So let's run the ball. Let's do easy things. Let's do some screens with checkdowns. Let's do some curl routes. Let's do some slants. The things that we know that we're good at, that are easy for Jalen. There's not a lot of guesswork in that. You throw the ball at a point and you move on. You get the ball out quick, or you give the ball to Swift and you let the man just continuously run. I mean, I'm talking I would love to run the ball like it's the fourth quarter and we're up by 3 scores and we're just going to go 10 run plays in a row. Boom, 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 boom. That's what I would love to see personally, mostly because of Jalen Hurts, because I'd rather not, risk it and put too much on him. So if we could kind of limit him a little bit and take that pressure, Swift has got to have the game.
Yeah, I love that pick. I'm pretty defeated with this defense, guys. I think Matt Patricia, first game, that's a lot of expectation. This defense has been getting torched for the most part. This is all on the offense. And as we said earlier, this offense has an identity crisis. So my player of the game, as I picked on Birds of the Round Table, is the offensive line. It's got to start with the offensive line today. It's been not as dominant when it comes to run blocking. Pass protection is there. But the Eagles, I refuse to believe the Eagles' run blocking is this bad. It needs to be better. I want to see this Eagles offensive line punish the Seahawks D-line, get into the second level, and push guys around because that was everything last year. And we already pointed out the 10th fewest rushing first downs the last 3 games for the Eagles and things like that. But for me, it's got to be the offensive line. And if we went to Birds of the Round Table this week, I did predict a Seattle Seahawks W. But with no Geno, I will go Eagles win 28-27. I think this is going to be a close game. And just like I said, it's got to start with the offense. The offense has to win time of possession. And the good news is the Seattle Seahawks kind of struggle in a lot of areas where the Eagles are weak. You look at this Seattle Seahawks team, they're bad. Their defense is really bad in the red zone. Their defense is really bad on third down. So they kind of meet in a lot of areas that I think could get the Eagles swagger back, get them rolling in that right direction. So Eagles win 28-27. I think it's going to be close. And that's it. Let's get some comments real quick. How do you feel about the passing game being more designed for winning one-on-one matches versus Jalen being allowed to go through his progressions and find the open man? Any thoughts on that?
Listen, I don't necessarily know if it's truly designed for that, but it certainly seems like Jalen had just kind of had more leeway last year almost. Yeah, I mean, for sure. But it also just feels like I almost feel like he's overthinking a lot of things, and that's kind of what his issue is. And we even saw it the game. I guess it was last week or the week before where it seemed like Jalen had 8 minutes in the pocket, and he was still just not able to do anything. And a lot of that was, receivers were not getting, any separation, but still, decisions need to be made a lot quicker than that. And it just seems like he's maybe slightly regressed in that, and maybe that has something to do with how he's being coached this year and whatnot. I guess we'll truly never know that, but yeah, it just seems like he's overthinking his decision making, and he needs to just get out of his head. Just trust his instincts, because they are good. They are some of the best in the league. If he just lets it fly and trusts what he can do, is going to be enough to get the W. And we've seen that it absolutely is. Just trust yourself, buddy. You got this.
And putting him in positions to succeed. Like, he was so elite in the RPO last year, making defenses guess wrong again and again and again. The RPO game hasn't been there because defenses do not respect his legs anymore. And, we talk about creativity within this offense as well. Like, where's the rollouts? Like, Jalen Hurts is a very solid passer on rollouts and those kind of plays. And we haven't seen a lot of them.
It's Gino. He's starting.
Is he?
He just broke.
Gino
Really?
is playing, so I take back my score prediction. I'm going to go.
No, it's locked in.
No,
Locked
it's
in.
already there.
Locked
It's already
in.
there.
Oh, that's not good, man. So it's a collection of everything, Dietrich. It's
Yeah.
there are times when
that's
Jalen's under.
That's a loaded question and a tough one to truly answer, because there are absolute layers to that.
Yeah. Anthony says player of the game is Goddard because he'll get a lot of touches. I hope so.
That'd be good.
That's a good one for sure. Austin says my key to the Eagles winning this game is to win in the trenches. The O-line has been stagnant. The D-line needs to get pressures. Looking forward to seeing Ringo get some action too. We didn't really even talk about Keely Ringo.
Yeah, we barely mentioned him. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's, man, what
He's
getting
got to
thrown
have
in the
a day, man. He's got to have a day. Welcome to the NFL, buddy.
I like Ringo a lot.
Shit.
We'll see, man. Wouldn't that be awesome for him to get like a pick six?
Yeah, right? Just
Something like that.
have him say, have himself welcome to the NFL. Like, hey, world, guess what? I'm here. And yeah, exactly. Just pass breakups left and right, and an INT or two, maybe a pick six, one of them. Yeah, I'd love all of that. That'd be really good. That would just be a heartwarming moment to kind of see somebody like that who was on the top of the world, come right before the draft, and then just kind of, sunk a little bit. But yeah, that'd be great.
Yep. All right. That wraps up our Eagles pregame show. Guys, we'll be back for halftime and postgame as always. Ryan, final thoughts on Eagles versus Seahawks plugs. You're up.
All right. Yeah, listen, I don't by any means think this is a must win, but for the Eagles' confidence, for their, ability to kind of go into the playoffs, this is your last chance to beat a decent team. And again, it's the NFL. Any team can win, yada, yada, yada. But you're playing the Giants twice, and you're playing Arizona. So, again, you bring you bring an Italian sandwich for the quarterback for the Giants, and he'll be busy eating that. So you can win that easily. And Arizona is just such a terrible organization, run by a terrible head coach. Yeah, they're just awful. So this is your last real chance. So it's more not a must win, but it's more for the confidence, for as Dives, as you said a few times, getting that swagger back, getting that identity back, getting that vibe back. I mean, this team has always prided themselves on a great locker room culture and just the love that they have within that locker room for each other. And that seems to be a little fractured right now. And I just want to see them come out, get a win. Would be nice if there was a little domination in there, and kind of say to the rest of the NFC, no. Don't forget about us. We're still here. We are still here. So outside of that, yeah, you can find me on I'll be on postgame. So definitely after the Eagles win, come back to EOP. We'll break it all down. During the week, normally Mondays, Usually on my network, Philly Sports Alliance. You can follow right there. Usually do a show on Monday, and then usually, depending on kind of when things are, me and Dives will do the draft show, which I think we're doing maybe Wednesday now.
Probably Wednesday. Yeah. I told it we were going to do it tomorrow, but I have a work party, Christmas party. So
I mean, 'tis the season. Absolutely. Go get drunk with the coworkers. But yeah, also Birds of the Roundtable on Tuesday. Party abroad. Basically, I'm all over. So please make sure you hit subscribe, like, follow. Whatever button it says, whatever social media platform you're on, just hit the button, put on your notifications for Edge of Philly Sports, and make sure you're locked in, man, because we got everything for everybody. Honestly, you name a sport, we're talking about it. We're on post game for Sixers. I know that you guys are constantly doing post game. Every Eagles game, we're doing post game. Flyers are doing post game. When the Phillies are back, we're going to be doing post games on Phillies. Like, Edge of Philly Sports, honestly, is fantastic. And side note before I go, if you really want to get yourself ready and into the NFL draft, please make sure not only do you watch our NFL draft show, but please go on to Edge of Philly Sports YouTube. Start looking at all the breakdowns. This guy, probably scouted, no exaggeration, 7 million NFL prospects for this upcoming NFL draft. But we've done plenty of shows. We're talking about draft prospects, talking about Eagles-specific draft prospects as well. But right now we're going through not only top 10 positions, but we're also doing top 10 for all 4 of the playoff teams in college football. So please check out all our videos, comment, all that stuff really does help us out. But you can gain some knowledge. You can get yourself used to these players by the time April comes rolling around. And we're going through in the 4th round. You're going to be like, know that guy, know that guy, know that guy. You could just impress all your friends with all your knowledge. And it starts at Edge of Philly Sports.
Yeah, and we have a really fun rating system we're going to roll out. It's going to be like a spider chart type of thing. So be on the lookout for that. It's going to be really fun. Here are some very short scouting reports, like 4 or 5 minutes. Guys I've put out over the last 7 days. I guarantee you all these guys are going to be guys that you want to know about. And I've got many more lined up this week and beyond. So if you love the NFL draft, there's no other place to go, man. Right here.
Seriously, it's honestly, it's so great. I love just diving into this, and you just really start to get to know these prospects, and it's awesome. Honestly, it's so cool to have such a deeper knowledge of these pros that are coming into the league. So do yourself a favor, please make sure you follow this guy for all NFL draft stuff, and Edge of Philly Sports, of course, and obviously make sure you're following this guy who honestly might have 700 shows a week. I just see him on a show, and he's on a show here, he's on a show there. He's just doing shows. The man is, and I swear to God, I don't even know if you, leave your house. You're just constantly on shows, and I love it.
Yeah, somehow I'm still married. I don't know.
Yeah, seriously though. But follow these guys for sure.
Adam Schefter just tweeted that just because Geno Smith is active does not mean he's starting.
Ooh,
interesting. They're dressing 3 quarterbacks and have not announced a starter. So that is interesting.
Wait.
He's probably starting.
Probably.
Yeah. Mitch, final thoughts? Please.
All right. Yeah. Thanks, guys, for tuning into the Eagles pregame. It's always fun chopping it up with these guys here. I always learn a lot when I'm on with you guys, so I really appreciate that. But, yeah, go Birds, man. You can subscribe to me on Mitch Topsy. Follow me on X, Hardcore Sports Network. You know it. Fly like an eagle. Perfect.
Tomorrow night, we'll be doing Birds of the Roundtable at 8. Hopefully, it's a fun show. I don't know how much previewing, because we typically preview the week. I don't know how much energy we'll have to do that. So it'll probably be a bulk of the show, Eagles versus Seahawks, takeaways, player of the game, all that kind of stuff. So, guys, again, thank you, everyone, for watching, commenting. Please be sure to hit that like button, help us out, get this feed to more viewers. And consider subscribing if you wish. Go give Mitch a follow on X at Mitch Kofsky. He is Ryan Reese at Philly Sports PSA. I am Dives. We're out. Go Birds. Stay awesome, everyone.